to Facebook right now. So, welcome everybody to Caption Conversations, Season 2, Episode 20. This is our season finale. We're so
Finale.
excited. We're so excited
Finale.
because we kind of get to backtrack and make up a little bit of lost conversation from the last time we were on. And my name is Bob G, your web design strategist.
And I'm Lamont. And
If you
I'm I'm so don't
if you hold
go
on, hold
ahead.
on.
Go ahead.
Dramatic pause here. If you ever. I'm not gonna steal your
Season
thunder.
you know what? Season 3 coming soon. I'm gonna have a whole new intro, you know. And right now I'm so geeked up about this and about the things that's about to come. I'm drinking coffee and Red Bull. Pick your
Oh,
poison,
okay.
you know,
Hey,
because
you gotta keep
it's a
that.
lot going on. It's a lot going on in the world today. I need to be ready for. So,
You gotta
I
keep
chose
going,
speed.
man. Yeah, you did.
Huh?
you chose full speed ahead.
Well, business implementation loves speed. Speed loves money.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true.
And I'm all
So,
about the moolah, baby.
today we have a kind of like a recurring guest. So last week we had some technical difficulties. It's kind of been the theme here, right? Technical difficulties.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
promising. I'm promising. Season 3 will have so much less of technical difficulties that we're just gonna like glide on through. But without further ado, we're gonna bring out Cherrell from the back room.
Dun, 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 dun.
Woo woo.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hello, hello.
It's been
What's
so
going
long since we
on?
seen you last.
I know. I'm still stuck on you on this Red Bull and coffee. I can't.
Well, while the world on this side of the world is asleep, I'm awake
I cannot.
because I have to compliment, my brethren from the other countries that's still awake. Everybody out here is asleep. Look outside. It's dark. Nobody outside. Where they do that at?
Uh oh yeah, no, it's sunny
Yeah.
still. We got sunshine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The Magic City never sleeps here.
Yeah, yeah, it's good.
Well, I mean, to each their own, but I feel so lonely. That's why I stay up late so I can talk to everybody on the West Coast, as I would
That's
say.
cool. Technology does that. It allows us to
Bringing you
connect.
together.
So we're
Hey,
just using it. That's all.
Bringing it together.
technology is the devil. That's what I
Mm.
say.
When it
Only
comes to
because
technical
I
difficulties, for sure.
It's a necessary
okay.
evil.
Well, you got to think about it like this. When we was in school, we ain't had none of this. You know, we had none of this.
No.
No Instagram, no nothing. Just imagine if we had Instagram and TikTok and Facebook all when we was in high school. We wouldn't get no work done. I would have still been in
No,
school.
no, that yeah. I mean, but we had everything when it first came out though. Like I mean, we watched tapes. We used to do the tapes with the pencil. You know what I mean? The
Yeah, yeah,
CDs, the
yeah,
Blu-rays.
yeah.
You know what I
You
mean?
know what?
Like we used to have like phone book, like telephone booths in the corners. You know what I mean? The one phone in the house down the hallway with the long cord. Yeah, I just aged
Oh
myself. I know y'all
man.
with me. Whatever.
No, don't
Mm.
feel bad because when I first got over here to Germany, I was like, I didn't know how to use the phone because I didn't know if you had to dial one or zero first. And
Uh,
I started asking people where the payphone was, and they were looking at me like, "What
Payphone.
is this? What is this payphone you speak of?" I was like, "Payphone. You
They
put some
just
money in.
retired
You
the
could,
last payphone a few days ago.
yeah." But I've been over here for almost 20 years now.
Oh, oh yeah.
The payphone been gone a long time.
But they just
And
retired the
then
very last one, literally a few days ago. It was like a
you know
thing on
what?
the news.
I want one of those and put it in my house.
I know, right? But it's gonna be
Yep.
rank.
That- no, it's gonna be a new one. It's gonna be refurbished. You know.
I
The New York ones.
don't know about that. I don't know about that. The payphones.
So
Man, I remember like when they had payphone like payphone booths, like phone
Yeah,
booths.
that's what I'm
yeah,
talking
yeah,
about.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
Oh, for real? Like one of
yeah,
those?
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I thought you found just like a regular payphone, like just out there in the open, not for
No,
you to
no,
like
no.
close the
No,
door or
phone
anything.
booths. I'm from a Brooklyn originally, so yeah, I know. Yeah, phone booths.
Manhattan
Right?
World.
Yeah, Yeah.
where
Oh,
you can
Queens.
step into anyone and you can't call nobody because either the receiver was broken or the change thing was already broken into, or it just ranked of like P.
Yeah, rank. That's what I said earlier.
So
It's gonna be rank.
yeah,
So I remember back in the day, we did bad things, right? So there was this thing,
He said bad
just letting you
things.
know, bad things. There was this thing that you could put in, like it came up on your computer,
Mhm.
and you just press the buttons and it made the sounds that
yeah.
the payphones would make, when you're putting in whatever
Eh,
denomination of
eh, eh,
coins
eh,
in.
eh, eh.
Yeah, so you could call up Brazil and be like, "What's going on,
yeah,
Brazil?" And then it wouldn't
yeah,
cost you a
yeah.
penny.
Can't do it now.
No, no.
No,
Well, I mean, like it's almost free now, right? Like, come on.
I mean, it's
Email, yeah,
it's not.
free. It's
Yeah,
free.
yeah, it's not the
It's
same no
free.
more.
You
Yeah,
can zoom anywhere.
yeah,
Yeah, true,
yeah,
Come on,
indeed,
guys.
true
Come
indeed.
on, guys.
yeah. We
Stop being
broke
so
all
old.
like. Wah, wah. I'm glad they
No
missed that
worries.
other part earlier, talking about
Yeah,
AARP next
Oh,
week.
right.
that's okay. That's okay.
We
Keep
watched
living. You'll
everything
get
come
there.
and go, though. Literally, we watched everything. Literally, like the first computers, the first internet. Remember, dial up. We watched it all come and kind of and go. Like my son is like, "What's that? What do you mean?"
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
he saw an old phone, no, a digital camera that I had, and he was like pressing all over it, trying to turn it on. Like, where? How do you?
Nah, nah. One click, one flash. That's it.
No, he didn't understand. He can't relate because his whole world has
Now,
been digital. Yeah.
the ones that I really like are the ones that you go up to a young kid today and be like, "Hey, pretend you're making a phone call," and you know how we would do, right? We go like
Mhm.
this. How
Mhm.
did they go?
Uh-huh.
Go like this.
They go like this
Yeah,
or
yeah,
like this. Like,
yeah.
wait, like it's either this or this.
Oh, I feel bad
That's
because I got to
crazy.
go all the way back to this.
Don't mess around and miss the dial, and you got to start
Oh,
over.
you mess up one number, you might as well hang up and just start over. I'm
Oh
like,
yeah,
Yeah.
man, bro.
the rotating dial. Yeah, that sucked. At my grandma's house.
All
Well,
right.
Flat
So
wait a
we've
minute,
got
wait a minute,
Cherrell
because
on.
wait a minute, because
What?
there's one more thing. One more
What?
thing. Because I was born maybe a year after they discontinued, the thing on the phone where you grab one receiver and you
Oh,
talk through another one. And I was like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
No, you weren't.
I mean, I
No,
can't say
you
anything because
weren't.
I'm ahead of him. Remember, so I'm not touching this. I'm not
Yep.
doing this with y'all.
Oh no.
I'm that
Yeah,
old.
they didn't even have buttons. You had to like click the hang up thing
Yeah,
a
yeah.
couple times to
Yeah,
get to
yeah.
Mhm.
operate. Oh no,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
that old?
Yeah.
That
Hey,
young?
easy, easy.
I
That
mean,
that
you majority rules around here, Bob, and you losing this battle right now.
I know it. I
I'm.
know it, but I'm glad I'm losing. I'm
I'm.
glad I'm losing.
We got to see it all come and go, Joe. Man, real like Bob. Like we got to see it come and go for real.
Oh man, I
Yeah,
don't know about that.
that happened.
So
Cheryl,
Sherelle,
talk
the
to us,
times
man.
have
Talk to us.
changed. The times have
Yeah,
changed
we shot
Yeah,
the breeze a little
from
bit on that.
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
but it's good reminiscing because you got to remember where you come from to know where you're going or know where you're
Facts,
at. So
facts.
That is
you
true.
know
That
That
is
is
true.
true.
Absolutely.
That is true.
that's the old man wisdom.
You, I'm letting you be old by yourself.
That's okay. I'm good to be old. I'm good to be old because you know why? Now that we're in the digital era, I want to say because I don't know what's next. But while we're in the
Mhm.
digital era, how are you making do with the digital era-ness of what's going on in the world today? As far as business, let's talk about what made you go into business to start with.
Crazy.
I'm gonna stop you right there. I'm gonna stop you right there because
No,
I said this a
no,
long
no.
time. No, no, I'm gonna stop it right there because I said this a long time ago. One or two things gonna have to happen. Either you want something or you're just crazy. I just happen to be both.
I was gonna
So
say a little
go.
Yeah,
bit of both. You
yeah,
gotta be a little bit. You
yeah.
gotta be. You gotta
Yeah.
be a little bit crazy because it's a ride, man. It's a ride. It's
I
a
mean, you
ride.
take a look at everything that's happened, when we are institutionalized from birth practically all the way through, like elementary, middle, high school,
Mm-hmm.
college,
Hmm.
for you to be the one to break away from the rest of everybody,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
takes that
It
takes
takes it.
courage, that takes nuts, that takes
Yeah.
crazy.
Hmm. Yeah, it takes
You
Yeah.
years
got to do
because
it.
from from our era, is go to school, get that education, get that job, retire from that job. Now
Yeah.
there are people in my my colleagues and things, and my friends and stuff that are graduated and retired from there are some, but many either didn't end up doing what they went to school for. How many of us know that story?
Yeah.
or
Hmm.
or didn't retire or are not going to retire from because it was like, oh yeah, get that pension, you're going to be there, like
Yeah.
like our parents or previous, you're going to be there 30, 40 years. Not going to happen. Not going to
Never.
happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So part of
yeah,
the
yeah.
part of the interruption, what is it that you know graduated in? Like, what were you designed to do?
See, I didn't do what I was designed to do either, because when I was in school, when I thought I was going to be a physical therapist or something along those lines back then. So
Okay.
sometimes something along those lines. I ended up being
Hmm.
an optician for over 22 years. So see,
Yeah.
I mean, it's still the
Wow.
body, it's still science, but not, yeah, no. I did that for 22 years, 4 states. Yeah.
Phew.
That's nuts.
See,
That's
so
nuts. So
yeah.
going back to what Lamont asked, like, what was it that, like, okay, after so long of doing that, like,
hmm
what was it that stuck you? Of like, okay, I gotta stop this and do my own thing. What was it?
well, some people know when I was 40, I had my one and only child. Um, and I got really sick. So I couldn't go back to work. I tried to go back to work and I couldn't. And so that made me have to stay home. So as a stay now I'm a stay at home mom. Unexpectedly, I'm thinking I'm going to do the whole 6 8 weeks and go back to being the optician. And he goes to daycare and all the things that's what we do, right? And that's not how life went for us at all. So I ended up being a stay at home mom. So, which is great. I mean, I'm still a stay at home mom. I ended up homeschooling. That's what we're doing. So things just kind of went. We went from here and it went all the way that way,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
all the way
yeah.
that way. And then for therapy reasons, I went back to school when he was about 3 or so, and I took it on horticulture because I found it to be therapeutic for me. So it was physically therapeutic and mentally therapeutic for me. And I just felt connected, and I just really started growing things. And I didn't even know I had, honestly, never even knew I had a green thumb. Remember, I'm from Brooklyn. I
Yeah.
moved south, but I'm from Brooklyn. I didn't know I had a green thumb.
Yeah, the concrete jungle.
Yeah, I thought I had a
Exactly.
Yeah.
brown thumb like
It's no
everybody else.
trees.
Yeah. And it worked, and I did that for, a while, and started that was actually starting to do some things, designing gardens, starting to do some yards. Got sick again. What is happening? Had to put a pause on it. And so, but that was the first taste of digital, though, if you think about it, because I was in North Carolina and I went to school in Texas. So I was taking a distance program. So that was the first taste of, hey, I can get this from over here and do something with it over
Hmm.
here. And so that was kind of my first real
So you're
taste of
talking
doing
about
digital.
like online education.
Yeah, online education.
Okay.
Yeah. Like
Okay.
really, yeah. Like I when I started looking at digital marketing and affiliate marketing and things like that, like kind of really looking at that was until like last year, really. But the
Okay.
seed, if you think, was planted back when I was doing the online education.
Yeah, that's
It's the
true.
Yeah.
same
That's
same
very, very
idea.
true. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I didn't even
Yeah,
connect
because
the
like
dots till later.
you break into it in that notion, right? That
Mhm.
it kind of like adds up afterward, like after the
Mhm.
fact, right?
Mhm.
But it's like you didn't have okay, clearly you didn't have, but like my wife, for example, right? Like she's, done both,
Mm.
as far as like online education and actually going to campus and sitting down and whatever.
Yeah,
But
done that.
she
Mhm.
finds that she needs the structure of actually being in the classroom in order
Hmm.
to, be
Mm.
more apt to doing what she has to do. Where like,
Right.
being at home or taking classes online is like it's a huge distraction. How did you overcome that?
Well, I didn't have a choice. I was really sick. Like really sick. Like so I didn't it was I was home anyway. I had 7 surgeries. Like I mean like it was like bam bam bam. So I was in recoup mode.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it was crazy. So that
That's
was
heavy.
yeah, and I had a newborn. Like I mean, at this point, like I mean, he's 3 at this point. From him being 3 weeks old to like 3, yeah, I had a lot of surgery. So I couldn't go in person. I tried, and yeah, it wasn't working out because there's just too much downtime, too much recoup
Yeah.
time in between. So that's
Okay.
where that came from.
And see,
Hmm.
we had a similar story like that with Tracy, if you remember her. She was always saying, "Well, I was too old to do this and that," but it wasn't until she broke, I think it was her foot or her leg, one out of two,
Hmm.
that she looked into it because she couldn't no longer go to work.
Right.
So she had to look for something else. So
Hmm.
that's a lot of people's story because something they might have had it on their mind and said,
Hmm.
okay, I would try it, but they wasn't necessarily, I want to say, forced or took the initiative to do it
Hmm.
until they couldn't do no longer what they used to do, and that's a lot of people's story because if it wasn't for that, they would have like, okay, I'll do this. I'll think about it tomorrow, or I'll think about it next week, or I'll think about it whenever.
Right.
But, you know, it goes to show you that, even when you step out,
Hmm.
is it's it's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's not just saying, okay, I'm gonna get rich quick, or,
No.
you know, a
No.
lot of people go in and say, okay, I'm going to build.
Hmm.
What was your motive? Well, no, I can't say motive. What was your mindset of, okay, I'm gonna go into the digital space and see if it works, or either I'm gonna make it or I'm not gonna make it. What keeps you driving on to say, okay, I have to make this work?
That almost 12-year-old behind me.
Here's your
Yeah.
why.
There's your
Uh,
I
why.
mean, like real talk. Like
Yeah.
I mean to have to. He has two older brothers, so I'm a stepmom, but he's my only biological. To have him at 40 was already a treat because I never expected to have any. So
mhm,
and the fight, we've been in this fight together. Day one really, because I've been fighting the whole time to be here with him because all the things that
mhm.
happen afterwards. So we still fight. Like we got to keep pushing forward.
That's
That's
awesome.
period. That's period. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I have my down days, and he knows. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm feeling like whoa right now. I'm feeling lost, or I'm feeling like I'm overwhelmed because I took on too much, or I've always been one to take in knowledge. I've always liked to learn anyway, but this time, it was such a drive to want to take it in and want to help people so much that I
Mhm,
went from not knowing. All I knew was I knew I wanted to help people, and I knew that I
mhm.
wanted to help people that were probably like me, either had been thrown into a situation unexpectedly, or some kind of health issues threw them off. Because that messes with your financial, it messes with everything. It's a domino
Yeah.
effect. It's
Yeah.
everything gets affected. You just don't know how much it's going to be affected. It's a play by ear kind of thing. There's no playbook for it.
Yeah.
You're just rolling with the punches. Um, and it was just like, okay, we've been going at this for over a decade. Like we got to do something different, because none of
Yeah.
this was planned, you know. And yeah, and I want to show him that what, be resilient regardless, no matter what, be resilient. It can be rough, but let's be, mama's resilient, you're resilient. We, dad has seen it all. We push through. We're just gonna keep pushing. Is it easy? Oh heck no. Am I still figuring it
Yeah.
out? Oh yeah. Oh
That's
yeah.
it.
We had an episode. We had an episode that was like, actually, I think it was two episodes that we strictly talked about, resiliency
Hmm.
Yeah.
and the perseverance to stick it through 100%
Because
all the time. It's like, because you don't have a choice. Now,
right.
I
Yeah.
do have to commend you. I tip my hat off to you because the people, there's a huge community. I can't even say, like, I want to call them a species, really, because they get they get their things thrown at them and stuff, and what
Mhm.
do? They give up. They give
Yeah.
up. They lay on the floor. They turn their belly up, and they're like, gut me. That's it. I'm
Yeah.
done. I'm done. But
Oh, I've
like
had those
for
days.
you, yeah, you probably have had those days. But look at you now. You're
I've
here.
Yeah.
had those. I've
You're
had those
here. You're
days.
conquering. You're doing it. And
So
that's where I freaking tip my hat off to you because it's like
thanks.
so many people just want to like throw in the towel and be like, no, government check, whatever, and
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I tell you
come on.
something? That went down that
Of
road.
course.
That is a long, dreary road, and a few things happened. One, it was like doctors were like, "Yeah, she can't do." Government is like, "Yeah, but she's not sick enough." Lawyers at one point were like, "Yeah, we can represent you and your family," but she didn't die. It was crazy. You know what I mean? Like the extremes that I was going through and pushing through, but I didn't die, so you can't make money off of me. Or I didn't. I'm sick, but not sick enough to get a check.
Yeah.
So, but it's like, but I'm in this limbo while y'all are making these decisions for me, and I can't do anything but wait around until y'all make decisions. And it's just like, you know what, I can't do this. Like, my guy is gonna, he's happy, before I know it, he's gonna be 21. What are we doing? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I was like,
Mm.
no, like, I mean, no, we got to just keep going. We just got to keep going. And I don't know what the outcome is going to be, but I know it's not going to be what it was. That's what I
But
do
it's
know.
part of the thrill. That's part of the thrill. Not
Yeah.
Yeah.
the unknown for me. It's exciting. It's so exciting because it's like I know I'm on the right path. I know
That's the
I
part.
am. Like
That part.
I've
That
got
part.
I've got my things in motion. Things are moving along. Things aren't kinked up anywhere. It's going the right
Mhm.
way, and that
Mhm.
gets me excited.
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure. There's gonna be days, like you said. There's gonna be days
Mhm.
where it's gonna be like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
I'm
Mhm.
tired.
Mhm.
But the other days when everything's falling into place,
Mhm.
open up my PayPal, check my bank account, and there's things in there that I didn't see before. Like, hey, I'm
You know what?
winning. I'm winning.
I get to the point where sometimes I wake up and I'm like, "Ah, I got to do the same old thing I did yesterday or do more, and then some days I get up and I'm like, I'm taking a day off, and some days are like that because I talked to Cherrell a lot lately,
Mhm.
and burnout is real.
Oh yeah.
And we had several episodes to talk about burnout because a lot of people don't know when it's coming or how it's going to happen to them. They just know I got to keep going. I got to keep going. I got to
But
keep
when
going.
it
I got to keep.
does,
But when it does, that's when the breakdown comes, and everybody's going to witness that. But like you said, resiliency is going to bring you back.
right.
A lot of people don't possess that kind of trait,
Mhm.
and it's either that you give up or you take a break, you step back, you reassess, and then you
Mhm.
drive on again.
Right.
Um, put us through how long have you been on this journey? Let's just say a couple months, couple years, or
No, I mean, honestly, when I decided to do that, like one day I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this. And I went and it's not my first time going and setting up a business. I literally set up my business in June of last year.
Mhm.
So I came up with my name, set it up, had no idea what I was going to do with it. I just knew two things. When I was gardening and I started the design, I named it Mockingbird Urban Gardens and Design. And Mockingbird is I always called my son Mockingbird because he mocked me, copied me, but it wasn't like that nagging kind. It was like he wanted to do everything he saw me do. And if you know anything about a mockingbird, they're really not but this big, right? They're
Mhm.
tiny birds, but they're mighty with their power and they protect with their song and things like that. So that's why I call them mockingbird. And so with urban gardens, it was because people think they have to have this big place to grow things. And I was like, no, I'm going to show people how you can do so much in a small space. So
Yeah.
when I decided last year I was going to do this, I knew I wanted to solve a problem, but I didn't want to change the mockingbird part. So I named it Mockingbird
Mhm.
Solution. So that's where that comes from. So I was like, we're going to keep along with those. So that's where that name comes from. That's why I didn't like use my name. I was like, no, I was going to keep along that line because
That's
he's my
cool.
legacy. He's
That's
my
Yeah,
cool.
legacy.
that's special. That's
So that's
special.
the
Very
story
It
special.
behind.
shows,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it shows that your business has, your you in it. You
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
not just your first name. Like I've seen so many names. Let's just use your name for example. Partner with Cherrell, or make money with Cherrell, or
Yeah.
do this with Cherrell. I was like, you see so many of this. I was like, man, I'm getting tired of seeing the names. That's not really a brand, or is it? I
But
mean,
what I
because
see a lot was, I'm sorry, is Bay this remember at one time I said I don't speak Bay. I don't speak. But I'm almost 52 years old, man. I don't know. I, I I I couldn't relate to that. I just like that's not me. You know what I'm saying? All I knew
well,
was, I'm not knocking anybody
that's
else.
the
But
I
new
just like
thing.
that's not me.
is that like the Salt Bay thing? The whole is
Like
that
No,
what
you
that
that's
just
is?
just
you just see a lot of business names with like you Bay this and
yeah.
Bay that, and I'm like, I just I just couldn't connect, and I was like,
It
I
doesn't.
can't follow that.
It's a generation thing.
Yeah, I couldn't
It's not
connect
going to
with it.
resonate with us because that's
Yeah,
not
no,
something we use now.
for
The
me,
generation under us uses that.
yeah.
And a generation under them probably using something totally different because they who is Bay?
But they get
I'm
it, like get that,
I'm
and
lost.
if I told you,
I
I
don't
was like,
get it.
I don't speak get that bag. Like I get go make that money, this, that, there, but I was like, but I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
speak get that bag. So I just couldn't see sending out a bunch of like say emails and saying, babe, go get that bag. And I'm what? No, that's not me. I'm a stay-at-home homeschooling mom. Like that, I don't teach my child. I'm not knocking again anybody else. I'm just saying that wasn't
Mm-hmm.
my lane, and I knew that wasn't my lane. So I didn't even jump in it. I was like, there's enough of that. I'm staying in my
Yeah.
lane when it comes to that. And so, with that name and everything, to me, it meant something because even if nobody else knew what it meant, I knew what it meant. So
Yeah. See.
Yeah,
that's why I went that
that's
route.
cool.
Yeah. So
That's
I
cool.
still didn't know what I was gonna do, and I still didn't even like find product or anything until a couple of months later. Like 2 months, two,
Mm-hmm.
three, almost 3 months later is when I really started like finding products and really like delving deep into things. So it's not been a long journey. It's been a lot of information in a short period of time. What really got
Mm-hmm.
my what started also was when I couldn't go back to work. That fear of not having control anymore. That
Yeah.
that multiple streams of income kind of got into my head, and so
Yeah.
I started taking in everything, knowledge for everything. But the thing about that, it's great to take it in, but you can also spread yourself too thin. So now I'm dialing
Yes.
back.
Yeah.
I'm dialing back a little bit. I've learned a lot, and I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, let put that on the basket. That I'm coming back to you because now I've learned you. I'm coming back, but right
Yeah.
now I need to focus on what I started with. You know what I
Right.
mean? And
Right.
then
And
we'll
then
come back to that. Yeah.
that's key. That's key because there's a lot of people say, okay, I still get hit up today by people saying, um, I got this opportunity that I want to show you, and then I'll quickly shut them down and say, I'm already in the opportunity, and the first thing that comes out, the next thing, literally that comes out of their mouth, well, you don't mind adding another stream of income. I was like, I got too many already. I said, and then I asked them, well, how many streams of income you have? Well, this is the only one I have. So how can you tell me about adding another stream of income and you only got one? You
Mm-hmm.
know?
Yeah.
Right.
But the biggest thing is don't get into the trap of saying, okay, I can offer you 7 or 8 streams of income and you can't make one of them work. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's the
Exactly.
biggest thing because then you'll find yourself, okay, I got 7 different programs. I need to make them all work. No, you don't. Make one
Right.
work.
Right.
You make one work and then you turn on the next one. But
Right.
you got to see one through first, and that's the
Right.
that's the problem. Is that's why people starting to spread themselves a little thin
Mm-hmm.
because they try to put themselves in every part of this mechanism. You
Because
know,
honestly, it's put
and
out there like that. It's put out there like that, and it
yeah,
seems appealing, and it doesn't seem hard at first, And I'm not against work because I mean anything you do, you're gonna have to do some work. You start a new
hmm
job, you got to get trained, you got to put in the work. Working for yourself, you're putting in the work. Period.
yeah,
But a lot of people, I think you and I talked about this briefly, is it's like the way it's kind of shined up a little bit. It makes you think that you're not going to put in as much work, so you think you
yeah,
can jump on all the different
right.
at one time, and that's not the case because you can't focus on all those different things at one time.
That's true.
You
That's
just
true.
can't do it.
And
You,
I
you think
see
it's
I
my
see this rabbit
you
hole.
see my shorty bop. My shorty bop. Like I'm 6 foot, my husband's 6'5", and our son is he, he's 5'2",
He's
he
gonna
said
be
the other
taller
day.
than both of y'all.
He's 5'2"
Yeah,
at
yeah.
11. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right now. Well, I mean, they said 6'7" when he was like 2 years old. We'll see. Time will tell.
Oh, it's gonna happen. It's
Oh
gonna
yeah,
No,
happen.
for
Don't.
he
sure.
he
For
eats
sure.
like a 7 footer. I promise.
Well,
I promise.
that's NBA money.
Yeah, it is.
I promise.
But yeah, I mean, all in the whole, I mean, entrepreneurship is like, it's not for the faint of heart. And,
No, not at
I've
all.
seen people chase the dreams for a long period of time and then they give up like 10, 15 years later and say, I can't make this work. But it's all because, just like you say, the opportunities come in a shined up, brand new Ferrari or
Hmm.
Lamborghini. And
Hmm.
then they say, "Yeah, come on in and test drive," knowing you ain't got no license. You don't know how to drive a race car. You don't know what kind of tires to put on it. You don't know how to oil it up. You don't know where to put the gas in at.
Right.
But they say, "Okay, it's yours." And then next thing you know, you could take it for a test drive and you wreck it. This is my the closest correlation I can put to it, as if I give you a car that you don't know how to drive. What's going to happen after the first day? Either you're going to try to figure it out or you're going to tear it up trying to figure it out. But
Hmm.
without the guidance, either way is going down that same road, not the right road, just the
Right.
fork. It's the fork in the road, and you're just going to take the left. And
Hmm.
and that's the
It's
biggest
about to
problem we're
be a
seeing right
rocky
now.
road. It's about to
It's
be
going to
a
be a rocky road.
woo.
You ever
Yeah.
go down the hill with no brakes?
Not a fun
That's what
feeling.
happened.
Learn how to drive a stick in Columbia, South Carolina, and down, man, all those hills.
Nah, nah,
It's not a fun
it's
feeling.
not gonna work.
Mm-mm. It's not a good look. Mm-mm.
But you know, I think we need to switch the industry, some of the stuff in the industry, because it's running rampant and it's just only going to get worse
Right.
with when you factor in AI, because people use AI wrong. They say AI can build your business. That's the next shiny thing, because they can
Yeah.
tell you, oh, ChatGPT can build your business from A to Z. And then you go out there and thinking you can do that. And then you go figure in, impute A to Z, and then you put it out there and be like, they lied to me. But you wasted months upon months putting this together and say, okay, they told me
Mm-hmm.
this is gonna work, this is how it's gonna work, and
Crickets.
crickets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Crickets.
Sherelle,
You know, and then
do you use ChatGPT or any AI in your
Can
stuff?
I tell you that I only recently started playing with it because
Oh yeah, of course you can.
yeah, I was only I was literally trying to like do things off the top of my head. Was I was just like beating my head upside the wall because I was trying to be creative on my own. What was I thinking? But then I was like, okay. I was like, okay. You creative, but girl, you gotta slow it down. Like, cause you. So I remember I
mhm.
started doing. I wanted to challenge myself and do lives like on TikTok because I just wanted to see if I could do it and get like break the ice and apply some things I had learned. And I was talking about how chat. I'm sorry, I can never say that. Chat GPT can help you, and it can. And I tell people best for you to know it and understand it because you're competing with it anyway. Whether it's a brick and
Yeah,
mortar, or a digital
yeah,
product, whatever, you're competing with it now, whether you're existing or starting up. So I mean, whether you use it or don't use it, you better know, you better understand it. I put it like that.
yeah,
Yeah, you
So
got to, because like a lot of people, like you can tell based off of like the stuff that you find on Facebook or wherever, how
yeah,
heavy a crutch they rely on it because of the way that the stuff is worded. And it's like, man, it's like take 15 minutes and understand it. You
hmm
know,
yeah,
it becomes a great tool. It becomes a
hmm
great tool when you know how to talk to it.
hmm
Once you talk to it and give it certain instructions and the outcome that you're looking for,
hmm
you'd be surprised, like blown away as to like what its capabilities are.
yeah,
yeah,
that's true. Now I found that to be true, and the more I personalize, the more it gives me out, it kicks back, and it's not as generic as everybody else's. So that's
right,
helpful.
Exactly.
And then you still
Yeah.
right,
tailor it, use your voice, your brand voice, that kind of thing. You still tailor it.
Absolutely.
Um,
yeah,
Absolutely.
so what I
yeah.
did, what I learned, I tried it with ChatGPT and that other company. I'm not going to say the name. We talked about that briefly. um, it was a whole thing. We'll talk about. It's a whole thing. But what I did was I put in prompt. What did I say? I told it my name, my business, the name of the business, why the name of the business, what my goal was, who I wanted to help, but I wanted to find my target audience because I wasn't sure. I said that. I said all those things. Give me my persona. Give me, and it put out something. I was like, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
It's
So I was like,
surprising.
okay, yeah, it was surprising. So I mean, I'm still playing with it. I'm still playing with it. So I don't have as much personal product out there as yet. Probably I'm a little bit of a perfectionist too, because I've made a few things and I've scrapped a lot of things.
yeah,
But we're working on that. We're working on that. Yeah,
Well,
for sure.
don't sit in the shop or in the lab too long. Like if
Yeah,
you got something, you've done a couple of
yeah,
things, put it out and
yeah,
just see what the response is to it, because that right there, that data, that information can
right,
help you make your modifications and tweaks as you need to in order for it
right,
to become the product that everybody needs.
right.
yeah.
But yeah,
Because
I
yeah, because
go ahead,
who
Lamont.
knows? You know when everything changes so quickly,
Mm-hmm.
and now we're in the digital era. I don't know what's coming next, but we went from information era to the digital era. Now, what's next?
Right.
And if you wait too long to put out, I understand being a perfectionist, because I am too. Because
Mm-hmm.
I got a lot of stuff I put together
Mm-hmm.
and I never put it out because I was like, well, maybe it's not good enough. And then when I actually wanted to put it out months later, I was like, yeah, now it's obsolete. So
Right.
I waited
Well, I have
past
put
the
some
expiration
stuff,
date.
but I think I'm still working on like marketing and leads and things like that because
Yeah,
it wasn't really nothing really touched it. And I was like, okay, so I know what I got is decent. I just got to figure out how to connect the dots. So
Yeah.
that's the next thing in this is connecting those dots, connecting them so that things just make sense. Yeah.
And I
So it's
think
a lot of
once you,
steps.
yeah,
A
once
lot
you
of
connect
steps.
those dots, things become a little bit easier.
Hmm.
Especially with all the knowledge that you have. You might have all the knowledge, but if it's not in the right order or sequential order or something like that,
Hmm.
then it's not going to make sense. But you
Exactly.
have it. You know what I
Right.
mean? And that was my biggest thing because I went from I came in as a copywriter. I went to freelancing as a copywriter. I didn't really make no money, but I'm a pretty good copywriter.
Hmm.
And I was like, why am I not doing this? And then I said, well, let me learn something else. And I learned email marketing. Then I learned lead generation. Then I learned funnel making. I have, like I said, I have so many things knowledgeable under my belt,
Hmm.
and I never could put it together. And
Hmm.
then up to a year ago, and then it finally clicked. I was like, boy, you stupid. But you can't be telling yourself that. But I literally told myself that. And I was like,
Right.
all the stuff that I did, it was sitting here right in front of my face. I just couldn't put it together because it was too much.
I hey, that link, you spelled my name wrong, sir.
Ooh, yep,
That was
sure
that was
did.
Lamont.
No, it
Lamont,
was two R's and two L's. I don't know where the E came
La-
from.
Lamont put that there.
Nah, bro.
I'm like, wait, what
You
is
know
that?
what?
Shirelli?
You know what?
I'm actually look, I told y'all from Brooklyn, I'm gonna call y'all. I was like, did I just see that? There we go. I was like, it smelled right up.
Hold on. Let me see. Let me see if I can get it right. Stop pressing the button, man.
I'm not doing
Just follow
anything.
our guest now.
I don't want to get in trouble again. Our guest.
Okay. How about that? Yeah.
That's what. Yeah.
I think
Okay.
that's better now.
Well, yeah. It was the other one. I was like, what? Who's that?
Well,
Surreal.
sometimes you got to go by a pseudonym, to make sure to make sure nobody don't catch up and cancel you or anything like that. Didn't you say her name was Cherrell? Cherrelli? Like, I don't know nobody by that name. I'm sorry, sir.
No, mommy sit.
But
For the longest time, I was talking with Lamont. Like I had a hard time pronouncing your name until game day.
Really?
yeah, but
Yeah,
it okay.
It's
I'm
really
joking.
easy.
Sound it out, Cherrell.
Man, I grow up coming. Man,
That
when I first came to South Carolina,
that is no
Oh,
sugar.
they
we had
they
one.
There's
butchered
no
your name
sugar.
then.
Ooh,
That's che che.
that's the
Oh
Spanish
my
coming out of you.
gosh.
That's che.
Yes, it
That's
is. Yes,
che
it is.
che che.
And I didn't even know for
Hey,
sure he was until just now.
if
Well,
you drop the N and throw in a Y, it's cherry, isn't it? Or is it
I got called
sherry?
Shirley,
Boom.
all kinds of things. And I'm not gonna. We had a teacher that there was one English teacher, and I remember one day in that class they bust out, "It's Sherelle," and I was like, "Okay, I'm officially representing this school now." Because when I came to South Carolina, I started high school in New York, and I finished high school in South Carolina. But that day, I was like, "That's it. I'm in now." They're like, "It's
well,
Sherelle." I guess they got tired of
well.
chopping my name.
I'm glad you fit in because I never fit in. Look at
Well,
my last name. Just look at it. I
I
just
didn't say I fit
nobody.
in. I said that day.
I mean, if you get your name called correctly, you fit in.
Oh no, they hollering it out. It's Sherelle. I was like,
Yeah.
didn't
Ain't
think y'all
nobody hollered
cared.
out my name because nobody knew how to pronounce it. They was adding letters that don't belong in there. They was taking letters out. And I was like,
Yeah, but see, your
how
name
you
is
say your
easy.
name?
But that looks normal to me. But again, that's different place.
Now it does, but when I was in high school, it didn't look normal to
But
nobody.
that look.
Everybody called me the wrong thing.
Yeah. Well,
So, but it's all good.
when
I,
you're
I
not
still
from there,
get
you're
that
gonna get
today.
called the wrong thing regardless.
I
I
guess
had
I
to
don't fit
change
in
my
nowhere in the
name.
world. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
just
mean,
G
I,
now.
I had to
oh,
change my name to Bob.
what was it
My name.
before?
Let's not talk about that.
Oh,
Let's
oh,
not talk
okay.
about that.
Oh, okay,
Let's talk about something else.
okay,
Hey, you know what? It
okay,
is, we got to start wrapping this up. As a matter of
okay, okay,
fact,
okay.
I've
wait,
had my family
wait,
locked in the
wait,
basement for too long. What?
Look,
What?
you saw my husband.
What?
He's
wait,
coming to
wait.
telling me stuff. My son's back there. I was like,
Hey, you already know my name. You already know my
Can I
name.
say it? Let me put it on the
Uh,
screen.
this is exactly why. This is why it's Bob. This is
Because
why
now I
it's
gotta
Bob.
know. You gonna have to tell me behind the scenes. I'm gonna have now I gotta know. I need to
Oh,
know.
I'm gonna tell you, it's
Okay.
it's 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 a
I'm not
pricey
embarrassed by
name.
it. It is.
No.
It's taxing. It's 3 syllables. It's too long.
3 syllables? How? Yeah, you're gonna have to
but
tell me later.
but I appreciate you coming on, being
I,
candid with us and letting us know
yeah,
a little bit
definitely.
of how you are in your life and what's going next. And we wish the best for you. And if we can ever help you, just let us know. And
I
we're
appreciate it.
right around the corner.
Thanks.
For sure,
So
Thanks.
for sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
we're going to stick you in the back room, but stick around because we need to grab your visuals and
Okay.
audio and make sure everything is
Look at this
copacetic.
guy. Let me see until the end. Look at this. Okay.
I see you back
Take
there.
care, Cherrell.
Oh
Oh
man.
man, that
But
was
yeah,
cool.
it was. And I've known her since high school, and she's been through a lot, and she's still going, and that's will and testament, because there's a drive in her that you don't see in regular people.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
if there's any way I can help her, I will, because and many other people, because sometimes life is not fair. You know what I mean? And we get put in positions where we don't know where we're going to turn left or right. But as long as you have a light, and she has a light in her 12-year-old, so that light burns bright. You know,
absolutely,
and I
absolutely.
wish her nothing but the best in that.
No, she's super amazing. I'm glad that I had the opportunity to meet her because,
Yeah,
bro, after last was Saturday's episode, where it was like cutting in and out, it's like I wanted to know more. I wanted to know more about this person, and I'm glad that we were able
yeah,
to like get it all disclosed. But I know that there's a lot more of a story in there, and I can't wait. I'm hoping that maybe she'll be gracious enough to return to our show, like 3 or 4 months down the line, just to see where everything
yeah,
is, to see where she's at.
yeah.
So
We'll make that happen for sure.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So everybody, thank
So
you so much for making it out to another episode of Caption Conversations. We are going to be going on a 2 week hiatus, more or less, probably more so than less. So stay tuned. We should be returning, I think, on the 5th of April. Yeah, that sounds about right. The 5th of
that sounds
April,
about right.
we're going to
Yep.
be condensing our output. So it's going to be only Saturdays from here on out.
Yep.
And we again will have a great special guest on the Saturday that we return. So stay tuned.
Yes, we will.
10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. My name is Bob G, your web design strategist.
And Lamont B. Wait a minute. Since this is the season finale with pinkies in the air, hold for dramatic pause. Your metric specialist, and always your metric specialist. Use metrics to guide your business. Metrics can also tell you if your business is right for your goals. Tune in to
Yeah.
season 3.
All right. Keep your hats on and the conversation flowing. We'll see you next time.
Yes, sir. I like
All
that. I like that. I
right.
like that. Let's
Cheryl,
bring her
thank you
back
so
on
very
out
much for
here.
hanging out. Really
No
appreciate you coming
worries.
on out.
Appreciate
Really